Welcome back to the Fight Society podcast. I'm your host, Damon Martin, and we are back for the attack for another week. And this week, do we have a fun show? On April 19th, the Ultimate Fighter Season 25 will debut. It's called Redemption. We got 14 fighters from past seasons of the show. Joe Stevenson is back. James Krause, current UFC lightweight, is on the roster. All kinds of guys. Ramsey Nijim. The list goes on and on. A former Ultimate Fighter is going to join the show this season. And the coaches, which will eventually lead to a title fight later this summer. Champion Cody Garbrandt takes on number one contender and former champion TJ Dillashaw. And today our podcast is going to feature a interview with TJ Dillashaw and two of his assistant coaches on the show. Matt Brown, of course, my former co-host here on the podcast, and head coach Duane Bang Ludwig. We're going to talk about the season ahead, the rivalry with Cody, the fighters we're going to see this season and their approach to coaching, and so much more. I recorded this a couple days ago with them, and it was awesome, and I'm hoping to do another one later this season with Cody Garbrandt, Uriah Faber, and Danny Castillo. Hopefully that works out. We get all three of those guys on the show together and kind of discuss what we discussed with TJ and the guys here today as we get ready and closer to the season. We're literally almost exactly a month out from today from the Ultimate Fighter debuting on FS1 Wednesday night, April 19th at 10 p.m. Eastern and Pacific. So make sure you tune into that. We'll be doing a lot of Ultimate Fighter stuff on the show this season with some of the fighters that are on the show this year. It's going to be a lot of fun because a lot of guys are coming back. Joe Stevenson all the way back on season 2 of The Ultimate Fighter. So it'll be a lot of fun to talk to these guys throughout the season. And, of course, it's always good to catch up with the former champ TJ Dillashaw, Matt Brown, and, of course, Duane Bang Ludwig. So let's get into it. Let's talk about The Ultimate Fighter Season 19. Let's talk about that promo where we saw a little throat grabbing going on and see what else is ahead for this season of The Ultimate Fighter as we welcome to the show TJ Dillashaw, Matt Brown, and Duane Bang Ludwig. The new season of The Ultimate Fighter kicks off on April 19th, and I love this show I put together today because we're going to welcome in the head coach and one of the assistant coaches. Of course, we've done this podcast before, so they're old hands at this. Welcome in first, head coach of the new Ultimate Fighter, the former UFC Bantamweight champion. He will soon compete to get back that Bantamweight championship later this year against Cody Garbrandt. We welcome back to the show TJ Dillashaw. TJ, how is everything?
Good, man. Just back out in Colorado. Having a good time and good to be home. Been a long time in Vegas, so some of the show is done and we're back home.
I love it. And we're also going to welcome in, of course, my old podcast co-host, the immortal himself, Matt Brown. Matt, what's going on?
What's up, man?
Yeah, not much, man. Just same thing back in Colorado, grinding it out, man. Doing what I do every day. Working hard.
I love it. So let me start with you, TJ. Kind of a very broad question, but how did this whole thing come about? I mean, this was a pretty exciting season of The Ultimate Fighter when we heard about it, you coaching against Cody. I mean, were you excited? Were you apprehensive? I mean, how were you when the UFC approached you with this idea?
I'm a little bit of both. I didn't want to go into a season against Team Alpha Male. I did and I didn't, I guess. I didn't because it was like I knew a lot of my good friends would be there, or guys I used to be friends with. And it's just going to be drama I didn't feel like I wanted to deal with in my life. Negativity that I didn't really want to have to deal with. But on the other hand, it was something where I could go and be a coach, Ultimate Fighter, something I've always wanted to do. I was a contestant on season 14, and I always thought being a coach would be cool. I feel like I'm a good coach, and I just always wanted to do it. And also the fact that I get my chance to really tell the truth of what's gone down with me leaving the team and how happy I am with my decision, and just a way to prove let people show their true colors.
Yeah. Was there any part of you that said, that the payoff is worth the pain in the ass, so to speak, because you do get the title shot? I mean, there was a little concern. Was Cody gonna, were you gonna get the title shot? He was trying to go for that Dominic Cruz rematch and all these things we heard, and obviously coaching against him on the show meant you were gonna get the title shot. So I guess that's kind of like the ultimate payoff, right?
Well, yeah. That's another big reason why I wouldn't turn it down as well.
So Matt, you were on the Ultimate Fighter, same as TJ. What was your feelings being asked to go back as an assistant coach?
It was great, man. I've had a good time, and it's cool to get to see the other side of things rather than be the one being coached all the time, to go in and give back a little bit to the other side. And get to see what it's like looking outside of the matrix instead of always being in it.
Yeah. Now I remember when we had you and TJ on the show originally, right when the team kind of formed a while back, obviously it's more than a year ago, but you guys were kind of two of the founding pieces of this team. You were kind of on the outside looking in with the whole drama that went on with TJ leaving Team Alpha Male. How was it for you kind of stepping in? Because you were one of the few kind of combustible elements that wasn't attached to this originally. Like, we had Uriah there. We knew there was going to be drama there. Danny Castillo, obviously, all these different combustible parts. You weren't necessarily there. So how was it for you kind of stepping in the middle of all this?
It wasn't nothing for me. It was pretty easy, and really, like I think that they made it kind of easier because I didn't feel like the drama that was created was really like authentic. It didn't seem like. I mean, I know TJ and Uriah kind of got into it a couple times a little bit, which like they're buddies, but I think Cody, he's probably the kind of guy that just likes to have a riff with whoever he's fighting with his opponent, and I'm kind of the same way. So more power to him. I ain't got nothing against that, but it just didn't. There wasn't really nothing to get in between. Like he was just wanting to start some, just try to make some bad blood. So it was easy for me to just step back and let TJ handle it on his own. I think he handled it pretty well too. I think everybody will see when the show comes out.
Yeah. TJ, let me backtrack for you, not to sit here and rehash, kind of reopen old wounds or anything, but, we knew, the whole Team Alpha Male situation wasn't necessarily going to get finished until, either you fought Uriah or you fought Cody. They were kind of like the two last men standing, so to speak, and we didn't know how it was going to happen. We kind of figured at some point it would happen, but how was it for you? I mean, were you, was there a part of you that said, yeah, this is my chance to kind of put this all behind me and kind of be done with it once and for all? Was it kind of like, I really don't want to deal with this again because I've told this story 1,000 times? I mean, how was it for you?
Just the whole process of the show?
Yeah, like, going back to the whole Team Alpha Male drama. I mean, you're not a drama guy. I know that's not your thing.
Yeah, I guess that's the only thing I wasn't looking forward to was just the negativity around it, not getting involved in that shit. But, ultimately it's about getting my fucking belt back, excuse my language, but just knowing that I'm the best in the world, and I'm obviously going to do whatever it takes to get my shot to do it, and like I said before, man, like I was willing to overlook the bullshit and the drama because I wanted to be a coach. I wanted to coach Ultimate Fighter. So it was easy, man. I mean, I had some when I first got asked doing it, I was like, just in the back of your mind, you question yourself, like, do I really want to deal with all this? Do I really want to do it? But instantly when I got asked, I knew that that's the opportunity I wanted to take. It's good exposure. I get to show my true colors to get out there, and as well, I get to get my belt back.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
win-win.
When you left Team Alpha Male, there weren't, everyone, for the most part, on the team kind of understood. Danny Castillo came out and trained with you. Joseph Benavidez ended up coming out to Colorado almost full-time, and I believe you guys are still training together. But the only two people who seemed to take, real issue with you leaving was Uriah, which I get it, it's his team, and then Cody kind of inexplicably got angry, like, right after you left and kind of went off the rails, angry about that. How was that stepping into that? Like, did you kind of assume when the season came together that, Cody was going to, there's no chance he wasn't going to bring Uriah because you knew that was going to be the element of the TV show that was going to bring out the most drama?
Oh, for sure. Well, and it's just Uriah's Cody's daddy. Cody can't make any decisions without Uriah. Uriah's involved in everything. That's why I got mad when I left. He likes to be in control. He wants to be the top dog, and it's just, This shouldn't even be about. I mean, I hardly even know Cody. It was kind of comical that Cody wanted to get mad about this whole thing because I hardly even know the guy. He's on when I'm on my way out. He was on the team when everyone was making fun of him for who he was, and now everyone's got his back because he's doing great. He's doing good for the team. He's getting a good name out there. But really, the beef with Cody is just comical because it shouldn't concern him at all. But just because it concerns Uriah, he wants to get all riled up and fluff out his feathers and act like a tough guy, So really, it's just I expect this from Cody. He's a hothead, and yeah, man, he just for him to not really be able to express himself mentally, but just get all worked up,
Yeah, Matt, you're an Ohio guy. I don't know how well you knew Cody, going into the show. How well did you know Cody? Like, had you met him? Had you kind of been buddies with him? I mean, I know the Ohio fight circle is kind of small in a way. Like, everyone kind of knows everybody in a way.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of big, but it's pretty small when it comes down to guys that actually make something of it. It's big there's a lot of hillbillies out there that just like to fight and not really train anything. It's a pretty common story in Ohio. But I knew Cody, man, right before he got in the UFC was when I first met him. I was up there training with him as strong style, and everybody knew he had a lot of talent. Everybody knew that he was going to do something good, and he was always cool to me, So, I've hung out with him a few times. Never, I never, like, we ain't never went ate dinner together, you know what I mean? So we ain't like that, but I didn't have any reason to have anything against him. And like I said, it felt to me like the whole thing was mainly just kind of constructed by Cody just because he probably just likes to have that beef. But some guys like that. I do too. I like to not like my opponent. I know TJ's not like that. I like to, I like to want to see the guy get hurt. So, and I never really pushed anybody to start anything like Cody does. But, that's his style, and more power to him, man. He's done well with it so far.
Yeah, I know you can't. We're not going to give any spoilers on the show, of course. But I mean, from your perspective, when you stepped in there day one, Matt, how was it for you? I mean, did any of it brush back on you that you can tell us about, like the kind of tension or the beef that was there, or did you kind of stay a little bit like Switzerland, like you didn't get into the middle of it?
Yeah, I didn't get in the middle of it. Like I said, TJ handled it well, and the whole thing. The only times that I would have got into it, just I can't really say much. I guess you got to be careful, but unless there was an actual threat to a friend of mine, then I don't have any reason to get involved, and I don't really feel threatened by what they were doing. So personally, I never felt a threat. So or never felt that we were at threat.
Yeah.
So really, it was just I wasn't there to get in fights with people. So I was there for other things, other reasons, and had a great time. And it was cool seeing like JT Money was probably like the coolest guy to see because we were on the show together, and now I'm coaching him. So that was it was a cool experience for me.
Yeah, TJ, let me ask you, because you kind of mentioned this kind of in the history of you and Cody. Because in a way, there wasn't really that much of a history to tell, was there? I mean, you guys weren't really teammates that long. Like, he was kind of, as you said, kind of on his way in when you were on your way out. So, I mean, did you even know him that well when you guys were both a part of Team Alpha Male?
Yeah, man. I mean, I knew him. I still trained with him probably for like a year and a half, 2 years, But I coached all the practices that he was doing. When he was first getting the UFC and needed some help, I was holding mitts for him. I definitely know the guy. I helped him out, and he helped me out. He's a training partner, But on a personal level, no. I mean, I knew all those other guys for 6 years, and built a career there, and a little bit different situations. So we really didn't have any involvement outside the gym.
Yeah. Now, there's kind of an unspoken rule in mixed martial arts when it comes to what happens in the gym stays in the gym, and a lot of fighters have, spoken out, when Michael Bisping, kind of jokingly called himself the uncrowned Strikeforce champion when he kind of took it to Luke Rockhold in a training session. And then, Patrick Cummins famously said he made Daniel Cormier cry, and he kind of paid, both of those guys kind of paid for it when they said it in the thing. TJ, what's been your opinion of this whole thing with Cody saying he knocked you out in practice? He's making this whole big deal about there's a video, and now Justin Buchholz is offering to sell it to TMZ. I mean, this literally sounds like a TMZ story, but I mean, walk me through this. Like, A, how real is this? And B, I mean, how much are you just kind of laughing to yourself that this is kind of to the depths of where we're kind of picking to make this rivalry? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a ridiculous thing. I mean, first of all, I've never been knocked out, so go ahead and release the video. I could care less. You know what I mean? And if I did get knocked out, then I guess I don't remember it. But no, I mean, I think it's a bunch of shit. And the great thing about it is that us three, or them two, them trying to say all their shit, and what I know what happened in that practice room all the time, that's all that really matters. When we get out in that octagon, as long as me and Cody really know what fucking happened at practice, and it's fucking practice, you know what I mean? Like, who really even cares? But we will still know going out there who had the better days and who has been more dominant and who's the better fighter, really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, obviously he can make some gains, but as long as me and him know that, that's all really matters to me.
Yeah.
When they can release that video, I could care less because, for one, I don't even think it happened. And two, it's freaking practice, and I don't really care.
Yeah. Well, since they're bringing it
we
up,
should just take the hours and hours and hours of footage that I didn't take of me just whipping Cody's ass and making him leave practice crying. So.
well, that's my question. They want to bring up the practice thing, and they want to say there's this video and there's this knockout and blah 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 blah. But you tell me, you went with Cody, so if we're going to talk about practice, let's just put it all out there. How did you go with Cody in those days? Now again, I know it's practice, and it's a year ago, it's a year and a half
kid's
ago.
Tough, man. I mean, that's why Alpha Male is so good, because we have such good competitors there. The kid's tough. Don't get me wrong, but when it comes down to it, being a well-rounded martial artist and sparring, just being there, I mean, sure, Cody'd have his good days and whatnot, but to say percentage-wise, I'd say I'm getting 70% of those good days. You know what I mean? Like, I'm on top. I definitely feel like the top dog while I was there. So, all I got to do is continue to worry about myself, not worry about what he's doing, and just keep getting better and just prove that I'm still the best fighter in the world, man.
Yeah. Matt, you worked with TJ, a lot over this last, year and a half that you guys have been teammates. From your own perspective, because I know you have interest in coaching and you just came off coaching the show. You give me your assessment. What do you think of, have you seen the big gains and the growths in what you've seen out of TJ as a member of the team up there in Colorado? I know you've been recently working with Bang Ludwig as well, so you're kind of learning that Bang Ludwig system as well.
For sure, man. I mean, me and TJ are in different weight classes, so we don't, really do a whole lot. I mean, I show him some of my tricks, he shows me some of his tricks. I think we just have a mutual respect for each other and what we're able to do. And, I mean, of course, man, the great thing about Dwayne's system that I've really attracted me to is that you just see a constant growth and there's a constant evolution. Never, guys aren't coming into that system and not changing in some positive way. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be things that you're going to get out of that are going to be good, that you're going to use in fights. And, for MMA, it's probably, maybe the best system out there. It probably the only, I guess, at least that I know of, that's an actual system, that's not just, kicking pads and, throwing straight punches and whatever. So, we could go on about that all day long, and TJ has definitely been the expert in that system and the prodigy of Dwayne's, and has proven how well it can work.
Yeah. With that being said, Duane just texted me, so I'm going to call him right now. We'll get Bang on the line as well and kind of hear from the master himself, one of the coaches on The Ultimate Fighter, of course. TJ, your head coach, and I know, Matt, you've been working with him for a while now. We saw a lot of the gains you made with Bang. Bang, what's up, buddy? It's Damon.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Sorry for the late reply.
No problem. You're on the line. TJ's here, and so is Matt Brown.
Hey,
Coach, what up?
It's Brown.
Yeah.
Sure.
We were just speaking your praises, Mr. Ludwig, talking about your system and everything. But I want to ask, since you're coming into this a little bit late, we've talked in the past.
We were just talking about Matt Brown and happiness. We're just doing Matt Brown on the series of happiness.
I like it. Let me ask you, Bang. We've talked in the past about your split from Team Alpha Male and doing your own thing in Colorado and working with TJ and working with Joseph Benavidez and some of the other guys. I'm curious, when TJ approached you and said, hey, let's do The Ultimate Fighter, and you knew it was going to be against Uriah, you knew it was going to be against Cody. I mean, how was your mindset? Were you right on board? Were you kind of like, man, I don't want to go through this drama again? I mean, where was your head at?
I'm on board to support TJ and make sure we're doing what we need to do. I'm not a big fan of being on reality shows and being someone's pet project, I like to focus on the martial arts side of things, not the drama side. So I was right away on board to support TJ, but not to have drama on TV.
Yeah. Was it, Exactly.
It's just funny that you even have to ask those questions. You know what I mean? It's like anybody else leaves the camp and goes somewhere else. Like, it's not even an ask question, but because of this whole bullshit being blown out of the water, like, you have to ask me and Duane about it and just bring the drama into it. It's so crazy, Like, the situation, these changing of camps happen daily. And
that happens all the
ridiculous
time.
That we're on the show because of it,
Yeah. Well, I brought that up.
Chris. Well, so might as well utilize the time properly, right? So it's just how it is. Another opportunity, but of course, everyone wants to have the drama and have the story of those things. What he said, she said, and this and that. But in the end result, it's about making sure the guys that are under my are doing the best they can and always improving and getting better.
Yeah. Well, it's funny
Most importantly, lined up me to take Cody's ass to get my belt back.
Yep, he's getting fucked up. The belt's coming home, so that's how it is.
It's funny you say that, TJ, because I even had this conversation with Uriah after, I want to say maybe it was after Martin Kampman left Alpha Male, and I said, why are people so obsessed with the coaching changes at Alpha Male, no different than you leaving Alpha Male? Like, I've never, I mean, I ask the questions because people want to know, but it's so weird to me that, like, there's such a weird, but it's not everybody, you know what I mean? It's not every fighter, and it's not every camp, but there's certain camps and certain fighters where people become, like, obsessed with, like, oh my God, he left this camp, or oh my God, he's not training there anymore. Oh my God, there's a new head coach. Like, it's a weird thing with MMA.
Yeah, let me point out one thing, if you don't mind. I'm not the first nor the last coach to leave the team. I didn't leave the team because of any drama. I just wanted to go back to Colorado and settle my family, open my own academy, do things that I knew I was going to do since I was a child. But think about this: all the drama is one direction. It's coming from Alpha Male towards us. There's no drama the other direction. We're focusing on ourselves and getting better and making sure we're doing what we need to do. All the drama is one direction.
As far as we're concerned, it was a clean divorce, but on their end, they got some shit they're holding on to. You know? This is like one of those like divorces you go through and you're going through court, and one of the parents is cool and the other one's just a bitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Just
pretty
hold
much
on
that,
to
yeah.
something. So.
Yeah, he's right. Yeah. But, sorry, Mr. Martin, go ahead.
It's funny you say that, TJ, because at the beginning of the season, when you guys first went onto the show, you guys kind of embraced the whole snake in the grass thing, which I thought was hilarious, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Was that just kind of like, in a way, like taking it away from them, like taking the power away from them to try to use that against you?
Well, it was just kind of like all they really had. You know what I mean? They've been using one thing, you know, and it's like the 8 Mile. You know, if you say what they're going to do first, and they just look like idiots because that's all they really have. You know, they're not very original. They got Connor's dick in their mouth talking about what he's talking about, and they can't really come up with their own shit. They don't have anything, you know?
Yeah, another funny aspect about that, too, is before that comment of Connor saying that on the show, it was a couple years before that, a fan made TJ a Wikipedia page and gave him the nickname The Viper. So TJ was going by the snake and the Viper way before Connor even said it. But that's just his natural emotion to pull people in, cracking them. So shooting, it's his style. It was his, part of his name before any of this drama came up. So they're all just riding on board.
That's funny.
You know?
Yeah. You, Matt, you know the sport very, very well. What were your impressions of the other team? Not necessarily the fighters, but the coaches. Like, what are your impressions of Uriah and Danny and Cody, and from before the show and then during the show? How are you with those guys?
I mean, they've always been cool to me, so I try not to get in between other people's business, but. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, man. That they seem to. I'm guessing that the whole thing started because, I mean, I can only make my own guesses based on, what I see, and I would guess that Uriah wanted a title shot, right? So he wanted to start a beef with TJ when he left. So I guess that's what it seemed to me like where it all started from, and then. And then if he backs down from it after he retires or whatever, then he looks like a dummy. So he just kind of, maybe he kept it going or something. And so, whatever their motivation is, to me, it don't seem pure. It don't seem like it was organic. And, but that's cool. Whatever, man. If that's how they want to try to sell, Connor changed this whole sport, man. Like he changed every single person in this sport now changed. Not every single person. 90% of people in this sport changed, and everybody wanted to talk shit now. Everybody wanted to, try to get what he's got. But, he did something his way that was original, and you can't copy what he does. You got to do it your way. You got to find your own path. And, and I think TJ's doing good at staying true to himself. And I've always tried to stay true to myself, and that's the kind of people I try to surround myself with.
Yeah. TJ.
Excellent, Mr. Brown.
TJ, let me ask you, without giving away any spoilers on the season, we saw the one video that was out there, and, you kind of said in the preview, Cody's a hothead, and we saw him, he went after Connor in the one season. It looked like he tried to get physical with you during this season, so no spoilers, but how much do you feel like you learned about Cody Garbrandt during this season of the show in terms of his mentality and maybe what you can use against him in the fight?
Maybe not so much learn, but just reinstated what I've already known about the guy, that he's a complete fucking idiot. That he doesn't, he's not very smart, and he's hot-headed, and he's just gonna I don't know, man. That's it. Really, I mean, there's not much going behind that other than getting a haircut, making sure your eyebrows are lined up, and being a hothead. That's all he's really got.
Yeah, he's still just young and figuring stuff out, as we all are. He's just a little he's just like what I said. He's young. He's got the title. He's on top of the world. He's undefeated as a pro, so he's probably feeling like he's the man, right? And I guess technically on paper he is because he's got the belt. But I would choose to use this time a bit more productively rather than act like an asshole and creating drama, but just spread a good message, and help people out. But people have. He's just still a bit young. I think he's kind of easy to manipulate. I think he's got some people in his ears.
Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans proudly supports the Fight Society podcast. When it comes to the big decision of choosing a mortgage lender, it's important to work with someone you can trust who has your best interests in mind. And with Rocket Mortgage, you'll get a transparent online process that gives you the confidence to make an informed decision. Don't waste time searching through stacks of paperwork. With Rocket Mortgage, you can securely share your financial info to get a mortgage approval in minutes. You can even adjust the rate and length of your loan in real time to make sure you get the mortgage solution that's right for you. Whether you're looking to buy a home or refinance your existing mortgage, you can lift the burden of getting a home loan with Rocket Mortgage. So skip the bank, skip the waiting, and go completely online at quickenloans.com/MMA. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, NMLS, consumeraccess.org number 3030. Yeah. Bang, did I didn't get a chance to ask you this question because I can't remember the timeline. Did you ever work with Cody at Alpha Male, or were you gone before he got there?
No, yeah, he did a few of my classes. When I was taking off, he would come out, every now and then. I held mitts for him one time, so it's not like he was ever really on my wing or under my guidance like some of the other guys were. He's basically just in my classes, and again, I held mitts for him one time. So he wasn't really, one of my guys, but, he's been doing good.
Yeah. What did you think as a coach, breaking down the fight, what did you think of Cody's performance against Dominic?
I thought he did really well. He looked really good, but I have to say this, just to be honest, that Cruz looked off. He looked really off. He was flat-footed. He wasn't using the footwork that he typically uses. He was being aggressive, and that you don't ever see that from Cruz. So Cody fought a different Cruz. He fought a Cruz that I've never seen. Not to take away from Cody, but that's my honest assessment of the fight itself. But Cody did look really looked really good.
Yeah, I was impressed with it.
Kind of easy.
He looked good that fight.
He looked good. Right, you get one
guy fighting the best he's ever fought, and another guy fighting the worst.
Yeah, exactly. He showed up. He did what he needed to do. The bell rang. He came to fight. He looked good. Both TJ and I watched that fight backstage, and after the fight, we're like, wow, man, he looked good. Just being fair and not objective, he looked really good.
Yeah. TJ, to your point, I'm curious. Guys. Let me ask you, TJ, because you I know this doesn't make it any better. I'm not trying to harp on this, but the fight you had with Dominic, a lot of people will tell you that you won the fight. I thought you won the fight, but it was a close fight. But I did think we saw a different Dominic Cruz against Cody. What do you think it was? I mean, was it just he was off that night? I mean, you fought the guy. What do you think was different?
I thought with all the animosity going back and forth with the guys, it was going to affect Cody more than it affected Cruz, but Cruz didn't fight the same, man. I don't know. Like Duane said, he fought angry. He stayed in the pocket longer than he's used to. He didn't make, and part of that's Cody. Props to Cody too. He waited for him a lot more. I'm always the aggressor, and I try to aggress, and I wanted to chase Cruz down and finish him. And Cody played a little bit smarter and kind of waited for him and hit him with those short punches as he comes in, and that was smart. What I did more of in the fourth and fifth round against Cruz is waited for him a little bit more, and was able to start picking him apart and could have finished him if I fought him that way the entire 5 rounds.
So they studied that fight.
Yeah. So I mean, he did a good job, man. I mean, I was impressed. And then with all the shit I'm talking about Cody and being a dumbass and everything, it's just because I had to deal with him the last 6 weeks. I got this thing with it. So, but yeah, he did a great job, man.
Yeah, Matt. Let me ask you, as a guy, as you said, you like that emotional investment in a fight. Did you see that in the Dominic and Cody fight? That, because a lot of people said, man, Dominic's really working Cody up, but it kind of flip-flopped in the fight itself where, Cody kind of clowned on Dominic a little bit, and it seemed like it maybe affected him mentally. You talk about the emotionality of a fight, getting that emotional charge from a fight. What did you think of that fight between Cody and Dominic?
Yeah, I think TJ and Duane said it perfectly. It was probably not Dom's best performance, and probably one of Cody's best. Maybe we'll see if he has, if he can match that performance again. But, what it seemed to do was, Dom was the one that let the emotions get to him. Like, how they're talking about how he was much more aggressive than usual, and he was trying really hard sometimes, and then. Cody, even though he kind of got tooled in the trash talk, he played it perfectly in the fight because once he got a step up on Dom, it seemed that Dom could never just catch back up to him. He started clowning him early on in the fight, and I think that must have got into Dom's head right away, and he just wanted to destroy him. So, that's where. Actions speak louder than words, man. And these people, they talk all they want, and then you go in that cage, man. And that's why we love this sport so much, because the truth always comes out in there.
Yeah. Let me switch gears, because at the end of the day, you're here not only for yourself, but you're here to coach these fighters. And this is a very interesting season of the show, because we got 14 guys who are coming back, and a lot of guys that we all know. I mean, Joe Stevenson was back, which is crazy. James Krause, who is a current UFC lightweight, came back to the show. You mentioned, JT Money, Jesse Taylor was back. A lot of the guys there. So, TJ, from your aspect, was it more fun stepping into a season with kind of established veterans versus like the newcomers? I mean, how was your thought process, kind of going into that part of the show?
No, I wouldn't say more fun. I would say that it was a little bit easier. Easier. In some aspects it's easier, in some it's not. I would say easier because you would expect all these guys to come in and know a lot more of their stuff. And I think when it came down to that, I didn't have to hold anybody's hands to make weight. They've all been doing it for their career for a while now. They're all older. They're not looking to be young and dumb at the house. I don't have to really hold anybody's hand, but still, one hard part is that a lot of guys have habits. They come in with things they've learned for a long time, and if it's something that doesn't really vibe with your style, you can't continue to teach them your style. You got to make them better at their own. So just learning to adapt to each guy's style, and they've all been doing what they've been doing for so long. So, it was good, man. It was good and challenging at the same time.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed, I'm not going to point out any specific people, but one thing I noticed is fighters seem to be really, really good at cutting weight, but not all of them really know how to train. It's like they just learned how to cut weight perfectly, but nobody took the time to train.
And that was one of the things I was really impressed with TJ on the show, was his coaching ability. And that's why recently he just got promoted to black belt under me, because he can perform all the drills and combinations that I've ever create. And he's obviously a ninja in the gym. But I was talking with Sensei Root, and he said, well, let's see how TJ teaches. So when the Ultimate Fighter came up and tried to sit back and watch TJ coach all these athletes for 6 weeks, and so he can break down every aspect of the sport perfectly and help not just teach his style, but to adapt to the athlete and make sure he's helping them get better at their typical traits. And that's what he did really well at, which is why he got his black belt. Just throw it out there. But TJ is an awesome instructor.
Yeah. Well, Bang, let me ask you, because we know, Bang, we've talked about this in the past. You're kind of an obsessive coach, and I mean that as an absolute compliment. You spend a lot of time breaking down video and helping your fighters, and everyone knows, TJ has kind of been your prized pupil. We've seen the improvements and the things that he's done under your tutelage. But how proud were you to see TJ kind of do his thing as a coach and kind of take the things he's learned under you and kind of become his own coach? But I mean, I got to imagine that makes you even prouder of the work you put in together, that you can kind of see him go off and do those kind of things, and why I imagine you gave him the black belt.
Yeah, 100%. He's just he's a world-class athlete that knows how to break everything down. I haven't seen anybody put all the three things together as well as TJ. I mean, that's compared to any mixed martial artist that's ever been. TJ puts all together the best that I've seen. But to see him, and he's not just sharing my information. And I didn't make, just for clear, I didn't make TJ. I helped him find his potential. a lot of people give me credit for him, and I appreciate that. But he's the one putting all the work. He's the one choosing to listen, and then it's a really co-op relationship. Because if you like to do something that's ninja, and I've never thought of, I'm gonna keep doing that. Then I'm gonna smack and listen to you. But where I'm going out with this is TJ can obviously he can teach it and he can fight with it, and he's the best mixed martial artist that's ever been on this earth, and that's my honest opinion.
Yeah, TJ, in a lot of ways,
badass, buddy.
in a lot of ways, TJ, I would say that you were undefeated under Bang. I mean, I think we've talked about the quote unquote losses you've had, but you've pretty much.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you keep getting better. We saw it in the John Lineker fight, and I was at the John Lineker fight. I mean, that was such a performance against such a dangerous guy. The way you kind of decimated him in a way that no one had been able to do since he came back to 135. And I know Cody's a much different fighter, but how do you think you combine all that? Because you get a little bit of that dominant Cruz style with the movement, but then you get a little bit of that power with the John Lineker. It feels like everything you've been doing to get to this point has perfectly prepared you for a Cody Garbrandt. Am I wrong?
Really, just kind of prepare yourself for every fight. But no, I wouldn't say you're wrong. But I think that's what we do such a good job at, is preparing for each athlete. Not overthinking what they're good or bad at, but really just focusing on making myself better, and then just changing what I'm going to do for the fight. Some guys are better at other things, and so by being a well-rounded mixed martial artist, you're able to use that to your advantage. And so now I like to consider myself a smarter fighter. I'm going to go in there with not just a game plan, but just a way of how to fight someone. Because game plans always change. You get in there, they always never really work out exactly how you want them to. But if you go in there with an idea of how you're going to fight the guy, that's the best way to approach it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another awesome trait about TJ is we always have a game plan, things that we're going to do, but he's very good at adapting to what the situation at hand. He can change it from round to round or in the middle of the round. Same thing with Justin Benavidez. They're both very good at adapting to the situation, and not just adapting to the situation, but creating a situation also. They're literally ninjas.
I love it.
Yeah.
So let me go around the horn with some kind of fun questions here. Matt, let me start with you, because you, much like TJ, you were on the show and you coach the show now. So kind of give me, you don't have to be short, you can be long-winded, I don't care. But let me start with you and say, first thing, what was your favorite part about this season of The Ultimate Fighter, without giving away spoilers? Like, what was your favorite part of being a coach on this season of the show?
Geez, I haven't thought about it.
That's why I put you on the spot, Matt. I put you on the spot.
I felt like there was a lot of positivity in our coaching staff and on our team, and it all just rubbed off from one person to another. And I think everybody was just every single day, had a good attitude and was and focused and was ready to succeed at something, and it would just bred there was just a whole feeling of just knowing from the beginning that we were doing the right things and going to succeed. So no matter what sort of thing we were doing, whether it would have been playing bingo or something, like that would have been that's a great thing to be around. So it just happened to be what I love the most, which is fighting. So that worked out great.
Yeah. On the flip side, Matt, what was your least favorite part of the show?
I guess I wouldn't be a spoiler if I said I got sick and had an infection in my finger, so I didn't really get to train and felt like crap most of the time. So that's probably the worst.
Matt likes to beat people up, if you don't know that. When he's not able to do so, he gets a little unhappy. He likes to inflict some damage.
That's funny.
That's why I had to have Matt there. Not only is Matt a veteran and knows how the game works and knows how the show works, I just know he'd always have my back, sick or not. If we had to throw down, he's there.
I love it.
There was a few days I didn't feel like doing it and did it. So, man, I love this sport, and I got to be a part of it my whole life, man. I got to be in the trenches my whole life, so I appreciate all the pride from everybody, and like I said, man, it's just a positive environment, man, and that's no matter where you're at, no matter what you're doing, no matter where you're at, that's a great thing to be around.
Yeah.
Nice.
Bang, let me ask you the same question. Best and worst part about this season of the show?
Well, the best thing I can't say because it'll give out some spoilers of what happened, so you have to wait and see on the show. But the thing I wasn't excited about was again all the drama on the show. You know, I feel like I'm a bit past all that. It was like reliving high school years, you know, and just doing stupid shit. So I wasn't feeling that as much, you know.
Yeah.
And I really connect with UP as a positive role model and helping people become better martial artists, just getting better, and not be on a TV show with a bunch of yelling and screaming.
Yeah. TJ, same question. Best and worst part.
Man, it's a tough one. I even got time to sit here and think about it. But I'm going to have to say, like, you're not going to really know what this means until the show actually comes out.
Yep.
But my best part, my most memorable best part about the thing is knowing that Matt Brown's always got my back. Even during the coaches challenge, he's always got my back. that was just the best thing. So us between me, Matt, and Dwayne, we know what we're talking about, and then everyone else will have to find out when the show comes out.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, just to add to that real quick, man, one of the best parts about it, to be honest, that nobody's mentioned was the fights, man. There were some great fights, man. I've watched The Ultimate Fighter for years, and I'm like everybody else, man. Nobody cares to watch all the drama, really. I mean, I'm sure there's that group of people out there, but you know, I know Damon, you got the show for the hardcores here, so you know, all these people they're going to want to watch these fights, man. They're worth watching, and I'm the type of person, I just fucking love being next to a fight, in the cage side to a fight, man. I don't think there's a better thing in the world other than being in there.
They're worth a really good fight. He's right.
I love it. That's what I said. That's the weird thing about the drama that goes on. They try to build the drama, and I get it. I understand it. There's a rivalry there, and you're going to see, you know, Cody and TJ are going to fight. But at the end of the day, it's, you know, 14 guys who are trying to earn their way back into the UFC and earn some money, and there's some great fights. So ultimately, that's what it boils down to: is these guys, you know, battling for a chance to either earn a contract or to earn a lot of money. You know what I mean? That's ultimately what the show's about.
That was an awesome time, too, to help all those guys get their careers back on track and for our team to come together and be a good, solid team. And our coaching staff, we all work together here in Colorado. So it was an amazing time. It really was for us all to get together and have a common goal to help the team improve and win all their fights and to help each athlete put their career back on track. It was definitely a fun experience for sure.
Yeah. So, you know, the season's just starting April 19th, and I'm sure we're all going to talk again at some point during the season. But, you know, since I got everybody here, let me just go ahead and ask TJ, you know, we've heard the rumors, you know, July is what it's looking like for you and Cody. I know it's not official yet, but that's kind of what it's looking like with International Fight Week. So have you started to gear up and kind of started to think about the fight? I mean, technically that's still about 3 months away or 4 months away. So, I mean, where is your mind at right now in terms of getting ready for Cody Garbrandt?
No, man, you can't worry about Cody Garbrandt. I mean, you got to remember, like, you know, who he is, you know, and that he's a mission at hand. But really, I just got to focus on being a good person and getting better. You know, living my life, dude. I mean, that fight's a long ways away. I mean, I'm going to continue to stay in the gym, just kind of always in the gym, and I'm sure there'll be some time to think about the guy because I'm going to have to ask question after question after question after question. So that'll be plenty of thinking about him when I'm doing all the press for the fight. Other than that, I like to enjoy this process, crush some mitts with Dwayne, try to beat up Matt in the gym, and just live life and spend time with my wife.
Yeah. Bang, as a coach. Well, that's what I say. As a coach, you know, part of I imagine it's fun in a way that you get to break down these fights and kind of break down how you're going to do it. But I assume in your head, you've already probably started breaking down, you know, Cody versus TJ, I imagine in your head.
Of course. Yeah. And I have. Is there more to the question? I'm sorry.
Well, is there excitement about that? I mean, do you kind of already have the anticipation?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely excited for TJ to get his. Yeah, I'm definitely excited for TJ to get his belt back. Just it's always fun to work with TJ, regardless. But for him to get the belt back, which was wrongfully taken in the first place, and having to go through the circus act, it's good for the right time to come. I'm definitely excited about him wearing that belt again.
Yeah. So TJ, you know, there's a whole season ahead. We got, 12 episodes or whatever. And I'm a big believer in, you can go into the show one way and come out the other side. And we don't know how editing is going to work and all these kind of things. We've seen it a million times where guys go in and then when the show's over, fans' opinions of them has changed a little bit. I know you're always an even-headed guy. You're not a trash talker. That's not your way. Do you feel like by the end of the show, we'll get to see the real TJ Dillashaw, the person that, you are today and the person you've become on this show. At least you hope that's the way they portray you. I know the episodes haven't come out yet, but I kind of imagine that's what you want because you lived through it. You know what the show was like. I imagine you had to feel at least a little positive once it was over.
Yeah, man. I do think that as long as it is shown the way it all went down is, yeah, man, I do believe that my true colors come out. I really think that who I've become as a person, a martial artist, and just everything that I've trained throughout my entire career, not only through Dwayne, but just, growing up wrestling and just knowing respect and everything should shine through on the show. So we'll keep fingers crossed that it's showed the way that it's shown, and yeah, man, it should be good.
Yeah, Matt, what about you? Because you went back as an assistant coach, you've been on the show as a fighter. Would you ever go back and do it again as a coach? Like maybe you coach a season or go back as assistant coach. Did you have a good enough time that you want to do it again?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, again, man, I just like being around this stuff. I've been, training and fighting for a long time now, and I just, man, I can't even imagine anything else, man. I like being in the trenches, and whether that's in Vegas or Denver or Ohio, like I don't care, man. I just like being in there, and I feel I'm ultimately blessed that I get to do this for a living and get paid to do it because when I started I was paying to do it and there wasn't no chance of making any real money. So I'm happy that everything's progressed and evolved to where it is, and now I get to hang out with cool guys like TJ and Dwayne and get to try to beat them up in the gym.
Oh yeah, it really shows how much Matt's liked it. How good he is that he's a natural. He could be a student or a teacher. He's been around the game for so long. It's easy for him to break it down and for people to listen to him, and he teaches it well. As well as being a student and getting in there and learning from everyone. Like getting in there and even learning from our athletes. I'm in there learning from the guys, and so is Matt. We're asking them questions. We're teaching them. So it's kind of it's awesome when you can see teachers be students or students be teachers.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Bang, what about you? You've been
I'll say this. I think for myself, it's I was known I was going to be a teacher, but I'll say this, and for TJ and for Mr. Brown as well, is that I feel we all know way too much not to teach and to share it, to give back. So that's one reason why TJ is fucking awesome, is because he teaches, he shares, he gives back, and the same thing for Mr. Brown. So again, we all know too much not to teach and give back and to elevate the sport.
Yeah. So before I get you guys out of here, TJ, and again, I'm sure we'll talk again closer to the fight, but, I got to ask the question. Season's over. I'm quite sure you're happy to be back home and away from the gym and away from Cody, spending every day around those guys, but how much did this season, make you anticipate that fight, make you anticipate getting the chance to punch him, and making you anticipate the chance to get your title back?
I guess that's just the last part. Just really, I don't care who it was. It could have been anybody, and I would have been thinking about getting my title back. I guess the show is going to make it a little bit easier to want to suck in his eye a little bit, but really, it could have been Matt Brown having the belt, and I would have wanted to beat his ass. Just because that's the competitor in me, and I want to get my belt back. So, yeah, man. The anticipation's high. I'm ready. I'm getting after it, but not too hard. Having a good time at the same time, and living life, man. I'm blessed. Just like Matt said, I'm blessed that I get to live life this way and love what I do, and it's amazing, man.
Yeah. So the obvious.
I feel like TJ really wants to beat me up for some reason.
No, man. It's just the easiest way to communicate to Matt. Unless you communicate in physical terms, he doesn't really know. I grew up with two brothers, and we always beat each other up. So it's like brotherly love.
I'll take that.
True.
So this is such an obvious question, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. So I'll go around the horn. TJ, I'll start with you. Are you glad you did the show?
Absolutely, man. It was a great opportunity, and I loved every moment of it. I didn't really have a worse time of the show. Really, mine was all just positive, and I had a good time.
Duane, what about you?
Yeah, I loved it. I would definitely do it again. It was a fun time. It was good to, get the chance to work with those athletes and help them get their careers back on track, and to just sit back and coach with TJ and Mr. Brown and Coach Leister and Professor Marshall and all the guys that were part of the coaching staff. We all worked really well together. It was all good energy. It was a positive vibe to have. We had a good time.
Matt, I assume I know the answer, but I'll ask anyways. Would you do it again? Did you have fun?
I fucking hated it. No, I'm kidding. I'll tell you, man, that, so like Dwayne was talking about, how it's just all about giving back, and sharing what we know way too much to be keeping all this to ourselves. And this was my first experience really coaching. So I've never been that guy to give back. I've always been in the matrix, deep in the matrix, and obsessed with this shit for years and years. And I do feel like it's time to give back a little bit. And it was a great feeling to start doing that a little bit. And I look forward to doing it more.
All right, TJ, I'm going to close out with you, buddy, because, again, you're the head coach. You're going to end up being the focal point a lot of the season. Right now on this podcast, obviously this is going to go on Fox Sports. The show's going to air on Fox Sports. So right now I'm going to give you the open forum. If you had one message to send to Cody Garbrandt as you get ready for this fight, when it's officially announced, as the season starts, what's your message to Cody Garbrandt ahead of the fight and ahead of the Ultimate Fighter?
Oh, really? I mean, on so many levels that he knows the truth. He knows what's going to happen. I can foresee it, and I know he can as well.
I love it. Well, guys...
Keep that belt shiny, Cody. Keep the belt shiny, Cody.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, guys, thank you so much for taking the time. I'm sure we'll talk again during the season. It's a long season ahead. April 19th is the debut. Duane Bang Ludwig, Matt Brown, and, of course, TJ Dillashaw. Thank you guys for taking the time, man. I really do appreciate it. We'll catch up again during the season, but thank you for taking the time to do this tonight.
Yes, sir.
Hey, man.
Likewise.
Have a good one.
All right, boys. Talk to you later.
Good night, guys.
All right.
Yes, sir. See you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.